Hello, Cherokee! Welcome to our radio show, Monday morning, Cynthia and Barbara. Cynthia will be here shortly, so I've got the floor, which is very cool. Thank you to Bolivar for supporting us, and we have two wonderful guests. But first, let me just tell you that we're at 103.3 FM, Ciento Tres Punto Tres. Please tune in. We've got an excellent story to tell today, and it's about the Tuesday market. We have Dee Horn and Justin Kent, who will be talking about their plans going forward with the Tuesday market. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Can I take my mask off? This is or is that a no-no?
Whatever.
Okay. Thank you.
Dee.
Yes.
Why don't you fill us in on what you've been doing and the history behind and how we all got into this?
I have been so busy. We're going to go to the history. We, as vendors at the market that is at Tap Out, we've been together for quite a while now, and we're all kind of buddies. We're friends. We support each other as vendors, and I've been in multiple markets. I've been in this business for 10 years. No, excuse me, 20 years. 20 years. I started in 2000, and I've been in multiple markets, and big markets and little tiny markets. And we, as vendors, we want to support each other because we're together for hours during the show, and so we were kind of shocked at the time when the coronavirus first hit us in March. We got a message saying, hey, the market's shut and we're not coming back. We just got a message on WhatsApp, and we all kind of went, what? Because we didn't know. No one ever warned us. No one came to us. So we never found any information out, and when we finally did, we found out that the management of the BCP, which is the market they're having across the street, they kind of called the shots and didn't let any of us get in on it as vendors. And we kind of make up the market. We're kind of the market.
Totally.
So
what would the market be without
vendors? So we kind of decided we didn't want to go across the street and have a market in a warehouse. And
makes sense.
We decide that we want to have a cool, hip, funky, fun market where people can come and hang, and once we get over the coronavirus distancing thing, we just want this funky market. But it's over the years it's become that way, and we unfortunately had no say about how many vendors were in this market. And as time went by, as management has changed over the years multiple times, we saw more and more people being put into every nook and cranny, and it kind of became looking like a picture of a market in India where everybody is jammed together. And we just saw a post of a picture of
That's an interesting analogy. Why a market in India? Why do you...
Well, we just saw a post that had a picture that made us feel that maybe our market is just kind of a dumpy place to go, and we don't feel that it was kind of made that way for us, but we've swept those cobwebs away, and we are now going to be able to have some space so that the vendors aren't on top of each other anymore.
How many vendors do you plan on having?
Oh, we have 43, and we have a waiting list of people waiting to get into a space. And I would like to talk about those vendors if
Please
you
do.
would like to know who
Absolutely.
they are.
Please do.
And
Now let me
Yes.
interject something here,
Yes.
just real quick.
go.
It seems as if the conventional wisdom is that the structure of tap out is really not conducive to social distancing. I went with Dee. How many times have we been there? 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And Dee
Measuring.
and the market manager measured the entire floor plan of tap out, respecting social distancing, 2 meters between tables, and still easily able to get how many tables? 40?
Well,
42?
we have 43 tables, but that is incorporating the outside where our other local and foreign artisans have been working for many years in the rain, in the wind, and those artisans are clamoring to come back.
Wow, that's fabulous.
They don't want to be in a warehouse. And that was surprising to me because there is an artisan market across the street, and those artisans are there during the week. But Justin called it. He said they're going to want to come to our market because we are a popular market with the locals, and they want to be with us. And so, like I said, I was very surprised when the request for tables started coming in for the outside.
Wonderful. So who will be showing their wares?
Well, there's a lot of those familiar vendors that you have had the privilege of shopping with for the past 10 years. The majority of the vendors are returning with us. And it includes Cloud Forest Botanicals with Diane and Elizabeth. And we have Sonia Yates, who makes some really pretty napkin ring holders and things, and the beautiful jewelry of Yolanda Vega. She has some really spectacular pieces. One of our favorite guys coming back is Eric Pousson with 2 guys in a cooler.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, and he has phenomenal food, and he really likes being part of the market. In fact, he's going to be moving back to his original space, right across from the stage, right across from Natasha Rodriguez, who has those fabulous avocados.
Oh, the fruit lady.
The fruit lady from Dominican Republic. She is got some great stuff to bring to the market. And an all-time favorite is Piero and his goat products, the yogurts and cheese, and he is a very strong force in our market. He
I've
really
seen that,
wants to make sure that this market returns to the way it should be, which is vendors running the market, vendors in charge, making the decisions of what's going to be done with our money, and everything is very transparent with that. We are not for profit because we are just collecting the rents and paying our rent to our landlord, and we're only there for a couple of hours once a week. That's all we're there for. We're not a business trying to make money except for what we sell. And we have another wonderful one, which is Ron Miller with Finca Santa Marta. He has been a very big part of this market for a very long time. He will continue with his big, long 3 tables together selling his fabulous veggies. And we also have another long-term one is with Antoinette Elemis, who is going to be next to Piero. She sells another beautiful jewelry. She's been there since almost the beginning of the market. We have Colleen Hunt with her gluten-free, and Sylvette Day, who makes tremendous quilts and pillows, all handmade. We have the Arepas lady, Raquel Castillo, who makes those wonderful arepas on the back patio, and she's a lively gal. She always is a happy Happy lady. Now, when it comes to happy, they don't come any happier than Flora and Sergio, who are the Ukrainians that make fabulous food. I love their chicken pounded with the gorgonzola cheese inside. And she makes cakes and stuffed mushrooms. And Sergio is quite a fun guy. He's always trying to make a deal, so you can take more. And we have Tina Knowles, who's one of our outside vendors, still wanting to be outside, and she makes the cute signs and bags and things like
her
that.
Stuff.
Her
Yeah,
stuff is
so
really
adorable.
cute. We have the Chalks family coming back.
Wow.
Yes, and they're going to be right where they were last time. You're going to find your vendors pretty much in the same place as much as we can. We do have to spread people out, and that's
Will you
for
be
sure.
utilizing the same area?
The
that
same
we always
areas
had?
will be utilized, but instead of having 6 vendors in a row, you'll have 2, with that 6 feet in between each one.
What about the theater area? Will that be used?
That will, at this point, we have no idea.
Probably not for the market, but we are talking. I think as Dee touched on the last time we were on Al's show, the Rotary Club is interested in taking over the Tuesday talks. So
Oh, great.
we haven't finalized anything yet. It's a little premature with the coronavirus. We don't know how many people we could get in there anyway, but something will be done with the theater on Tuesday. Something
good.
similar to the Tuesday
That's
talks.
exciting.
So
I know it's so popular, and people are really interested in seeing that come back.
absolutely,
We're wonderful.
absolutely.
We're just all waiting to find out. We have another artist that works with wood. His name is Ricard Huisa. He worked a lot with David Van Harn, who makes. I buy a lot of stuff from this guy. He makes just beautiful wood pieces. We have Barbara Bradley with makes the cabinets for kitchens and bathrooms. She's always been a popular one right in front of the theater. We have Sandra Kripe, who's been there for a long time with her Palmyra
She's been a Moquette there
Gold.
probably 20 years.
Yeah, Palmyra Gold Coffee. She has her own coffee farm, and she will be right front and center when you come into the Hex Room, selling her coffee and her little maps for the butterfly, what the butterflies are, so you can identify them, and the birds. And we're going to have Filippo from Grupo Agua. He has been there for a long time, so people don't have to go to his store. They can just come to the market and pick up those filters.
We've done that. Yeah, that's so convenient.
Talk to him about getting a water system at your house. We have Marianne Torgay, who's a German lady who is she's a silversmith, and she's been making jewelry for a very long time. And we also have Franklin Gruber's, who makes Gruber's Jungle Juice. He's going to be there. He has a little tiny table, and he's like really cool with that because he's usually walking around talking to people. He's quite a very social person, and we like that. That's what we like about our vendors, is that we can talk to each other. We have the freedom to make our decisions about what we can sell and what we want to say to each other.
So can I just ask you?
Sure.
It was always the BCP that was running the Tuesday market, and now
And now Tap Out controls the space, the entire space now. And we basically have just decided to sublease the market space to the vendors on Tuesday. So now they have the freedom, as long as they pay the, I think, fair price on the rent that we have, then they're able to put the tables where they want, have as many tables as they want, move the tables around.
lovely.
It's
So
really
it's all in your
completely
hands.
different than what they had before, which the idea of the market really was to generate as much revenue as possible. So they would squeeze, like she said, 70, 75 vendors into that small space, and that's why oftentimes it looked like a disorganized market from India, because the profit motive was the dominating motive, whereas now it's creating a market that's not generating as much money as possible as far as rental space, but is as attractive as possible to the consumer.
Wow.
So I think that's really
That says it all.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the
That's the
change.
whole
Yeah.
reason why we're
So-
doing this, and that's why even once we have no more social distancing, which who knows when that's ever going to happen, we will not put more vendors in the spaces that are there, because we want people to be able to have a place to stand so they can chat and not block the tables. And that's been, for me, the biggest problem I've had for years, is that I have to constantly try and walk on eggshells and get people to move away from my table to talk, but you don't want to be nasty about it, but they see their friend they haven't seen for a week and they want to chit chat, and they're right in front of my earrings, and I'm like, excuse me, but people can't see my earrings because you're blocking them, and I can't sell them if you're blocking them. But how do you do that? And you say it nicely, but people get their backs up. They're like, well, I have no place to go, and I'm like, well,
That was the problem, no place to go.
No place to
You
go.
would go, you'd see somebody you would know, you would want to have a conversation, but there was no place to go.
There was no place to
before.
go. Now we have some places we'll have a table you can sit at, a chair in different areas, so that we have some empty spaces now, so that we're not crowded anymore. That's the whole idea, is space.
What has to happen before your market opens?
Well,
What is the process?
Well, I think the first thing is knowing under which block the market would be considered. It could be, as I think I discussed on Al's program a couple weeks ago, the argument could be made, as food is being sold, that the market could be considered something other than block 5 or 6. Something maybe block 3, block 4, certainly block 4, as restaurants will be open in block 4. But regardless of the block, all of the different regulations and requirements that are being put on any business to open, the testing of the temperature, the distancing, the mask wearing and everything else, that will stay probably for the next 2 years. So we will have stations set up with alcohol for your hands. All the vendors will be required to wear masks. All the attendees will be required to wear masks. There'll probably be a limit of how many people can be in the market at one time, so it's not going to be completely jammed with people for
Will
now.
you stagger the opening, or
That's up to the vendors.
I'm making it go with like we used to have our times that we could shop.
Yeah, and we talked about that before when we were entertaining the idea of trying to continue the market, Tap Out as an organization. Now we've abandoned that idea. It's much better to give the vendors freedom and self-determination. So they'll decide that, and I think they've been kind of toying with different ideas, maybe a staggered cedula-based entrance,
could be that, or
or
you just
30
have-
people at a time, and you
Exactly.
wait, or
You
maybe
wait.
call in and make an appointment, maybe extend the hours of the market so as to accommodate everybody.
We'll do what we have to do to make it so everybody feels safe visiting our market. And people have kind of hinted towards they don't feel it's a safe situation. But if Mensa does rule that we are able to open, then we will do what it takes. We have other options that we can follow if we need to get more space. We can move in towards Boulder, and we could open up that whole area over there. And if we need to space, if we have to do that, we're going to do what it takes to make sure that everybody feels comfortable. And again, we want a fun market that is unusual. You don't know what's going to be around the next corner versus a warehouse. Yes, they might have better bathrooms. We do have bathrooms. They're not the best, but we're not using porta potties.
And we have a new toilet, too.
Yay!
Oh, yay! Is it in the
Big
women's
news
room?
breaking here on your show. It's not installed yet, and if you prefer it in the ladies' room, guys don't
Yes,
care.
we do care. So please, in
Newsflash,
the
guys
ladies'
don't
room.
care if the toilet seat doesn't work correctly. So we'll
I've been in
probably,
the guys' bathroom.
Yeah,
They need it.
yeah.
Let's put it in the
and we like it like that. So we'll probably install the new toilet in the ladies' bathroom.
Cool. Listen up.
And I
ladies.
will say, though, the toilet was purchased by the BCP originally to put, I'm assuming, in the ladies' bathroom, and they did allow us to keep the toilet. So
Oh, good.
thank you, Phil. Thanks,
Thank you.
Sheila.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you very much.
We'll appreciate it.
We also do have accessible parking.
That's
And
true.
in the back of the market where we have an entrance, and this is where the vendors come and drop off their this is what's really nice about us. We got places to park, and the vendors we can fit a couple cars back there, and people can bring it in, and we're not jammed up in trying to get in through one door. We have multiple ways to get in, and we do have marked handicaps parking. So if you do need accessible parking or a easier way to get in, we have that, and we do have parking available for those people.
Who runs that now? Will it be the same guys that ran it last time?
No, we will have new people, and we'll be getting that all arranged in the future. It's so far from now that we're thinking, so that is not the issue that we're dealing with. Our issue was getting our vendors, and I'm going to continue speaking about
Please
more
do.
of our venue, of our
That's a long list you have
It's
there.
a long list of our
Impressive.
43 vendors.
And we were worried we wouldn't have enough time.
Yeah.
So,
And we also have a gentleman, John Mark, who is known for his safety and security products. He has
the BB gun guy.
and the taser guy.
Yeah.
Taser guy.
But I bought a taser from him, so when I walk around, I can make the noise, and the dogs don't bother me.
Nice.
It's very nice.
Ah.
And it's nice to be able to get that. I wouldn't have known any place else to get that. And we also have Crystal Culp. She is a gal that makes phenomenal natural lotions and does oils for your room to diffuse so that you'll have something nice to smell. We have
Instead of wet dog.
wet dog.
Thank you.
Anna,
I like that smell.
I do too.
I love that
but
smell.
not every day.
Is Anna Mercanti. She is a fabulous lady who has organic veggies.
Marciac.
Oh, Marcia, excuse
Marcia.
me, Anna, I apologize. And she does, my handwriting is so bad. She is going to be in the back where the pool tables are. And next to her is going to be Daniel Davies. And he does wonderful things for the community with supplying vegetables for those, so people can buy at a lower price to help feed the people of Boquete. And we're going to have the Rotary table. They're going to be selling coffee and having water and supporting their good cause for the community. We have a couple of different charities that we want to support. We're going to be having Leslie Peter from the Handicap Foundation. Her books that was being carried on from Irene's book days, and she is going to be in the back next to the window so you can look out at the river, and we're going to have a table and chairs there so you can sit and pick up a book if you want and read it for a little while, have a cup of coffee. It's going to be that quiet corner.
Oh, that's lovely.
And
And that's such a beautiful spot.
it's a beautiful spot. It's going to be, to get away from the hustle and bustle, you can go into the quiet corner, and next to her is going to be Barbara Lapid with the hospice they're the hospice group, and she'll be doing blood pressures for the community, which is a much needed function that we have available for free. These tables are going to be provided to these charities for no cost.
Wonderful.
And we will also have dog camp up in the parking lot where they've been for quite a while. And moving on to other vendors, we have Pedro and Iria, who I know him as the German dude that makes cheese and bread and sausages, and he was always been in the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a very popular man. People really like his cheeses, and he always can give you a little taste. So if you're wanting to know what his cheese tastes like, we also have an Italian chef, her Cesara Danielia,
Oh, I'm
hope-
hearing amazing things about her food.
Yeah, well, she is going to be returning with us. She's going to be out in the lobby next to Eric at the Two Guys in a Cooler. She's been back there for a while, but she's been kind of jammed in between the entrance, which we now are going to have the entrance to the area where you can sit and listen to the band and sit at a table, and we have some really cool chairs and stuff that we're going to put down there so that people can stop and listen to music. We are going to have...
So there'll be music during the festival,
We are going to do that, and we're looking for volunteers.
Volunteers
to do that.
Very important that they're volunteers.
And what do you need them to do?
Well, we want some acoustic musicians that want to maybe play a keyboard or a guitar, and just to have an atmosphere so that
Cool.
people
Using the tap out stage, obviously.
using the
Be
Nice.
tap-out
outside,
stage, being
but to
outside.
not have it be too loud so people can still
People can talk
converse with
and-
the vendors.
But it's always nice to have a little bit of a live thing going on.
Totally.
It's a party atmosphere. We're going to have a new vendor. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. You know them, Kurumbita.
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 They sell beer.
Price Bennett's microbrew.
Oh, I know.
It's
yes,
been for
I've
sale
been
at
up
the
there to
Rock
see
for many
it.
years.
Oh,
It was
cool.
for sale at Tap Out and will be again.
I've seen his microbrew
Yeah.
building. It's very
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, have you been up to
Yeah,
his
I have.
farm up there?
Mhm.
So
Interesting place.
we're hoping
Very.
that all works out. And
Cool.
we have another long time, Bolivar Arapacio. He has miel con limon, so he sells honey products, organic honey products. So he's really excited to be back. Another one that's really excited to be back is Henry Ramirez. He brings meat from Volcan.
Mm.
You know him next to Tina in the corner there on the patio. He was really happy to be coming back. We have another lady, Donna Wendt. She has some different wares that she's selling. She has molas, and she also sells products of Gruber's. And obviously Franklin Gruber is cool with that because he's at the same market. We have some new people that are coming on. We have Stephanie Tedesca. I think she was there before. She sells jams, and she also makes some jewelry. But who I want to talk about is the gentlemen, the people outside that are coming back. Are artisans who are not necessarily Panamanian. Some are, and some are from Argentina, some are from Ecuador, some are from Colombia. I don't know the origins of every one of them, but the one that's been there for a really long time, has the biggest smile, has been on the corner to the entrance of coming into the market. His name is Donato Lopez.
He's fabulous. We've bought many mulas from him.
His aunt makes those. And so they're locally made. They're not Chinese imported.
My partner designed a mola. I will
did.
not tell you what it's about. And she is making it for
I
us.
have had 3 different molas made by his aunt. I designed it. They made them.
Fabulous.
We're going to have Javier Moreta. He makes some really. He has a lot of blankets and different wares from his country. We have Jacinto Mamani, yeah, he owns he's moved his restaurant. He had a restaurant on the way up to by Escondido. It was
La Casa del Cusco.
Yes.
And he's in front of Big Daddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Great food, by the way.
yes, he and his wife each have a table, and so he's going to be on the corner of the patio. He's been there for a long time. We have Fabio de Leon Lopez, who he has the long braids, and he makes. I bought some bracelets for my nephews to take to California, where I'm not going to get to go. He has some really good stuff that he makes here in town. And we have Sofia Campo. she is making textiles like hand towels and tablecloths, really
Oh,
beautiful hand
fabulous.
embroidered pieces.
I need that.
And she's going to be with us. And like I said, we have other vendors who at this point in time would prefer not to say who they are. They're kind of waiting to, when it's closer to or opening, let us know when they're coming. And
It's really impressive to me, knowing that this is something that's going on in the future. We don't know how long of
No,
the future.
no.
And so many people have already reserved their space
Oh,
to be a vendor.
they're ready to go. They have been writing me every day. I have a new person saying, "Hi, I would like to be part of your market," and I've just been saying, "I'm sorry. At this point, we are full, but we'll put you on a waiting list because you never know what's going to happen."
So you are full now.
We are completely full. And
Wow, that's impressive.
yeah, and that is a lot of vendors, but that's like half of what used to be there. So
Wow.
that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And again, these are all familiar vendors that you've been shopping with for years. So we haven't gone anywhere. We're still at the same place when we can open. Nothing, it's going to be the market you're used to.
I'm thinking to myself as I'm looking at your list, and I'm wondering who's left. I mean, I can't think of anybody that would be left.
Well, there's a couple of vendors
At
that
least
are...
the big vendors, the most
these
well-known
are
vendors.
all the big, well-known vendors.
Wow.
There's a couple of people that didn't feel comfortable coming back to our market for various reasons, and we wish them the best. Just like bringing that up, we are very community-based. We want everybody to succeed. We want our artisan market across the street to succeed, and we want any other markets that decide to open, we wish them success, and we welcome them on our original day that we've had for quite a long time. We want them to feel welcome to be part of the community market day.
Was this a difficult sell? I mean, when you contacted these vendors, was it difficult to try to convince them
Not
to
at
stay?
all. Not at all. They all pretty much said, yes, I want to continue staying at this location because we like being here. We like the open market, the open air market, looking at the beautiful plants that are all around there, looking at the river. Being able to go outside easily and sit down and listen to music and have something to eat is very appealing to our vendors. We don't want to be confined into a one-way traffic room that is just pretty much a big open warehouse.
So let me ask you, I did have some comments from the Peanut Gallery before the show today about the idea of aerosol transmission of the flu in terms of staying in one place for a long period of time would make it more possible for you to pick something up, whether it's corona or anything else.
Well, we're hoping that that's really not going to be a big issue. I mean, I go to Baru and I have to turn sideways to go through the aisles. You know, I think we're all trying to do our best, wearing our masks, washing our hands, not touching our faces. No one ever, well, people did see it coming, to be honest, but we as a group of people, most people didn't see it coming, and it's really changed our lives.
Totally.
I should be in Lithuania today, but unfortunately I'm not, and people that know me know I'm quite the world traveler, and I had a trip planned for November into Mexico and Colombia and Guatemala, and that's pretty much gone. So I know a lot of people are very disheartened but that's pretty much first world problems. I think of the people here in Boquete that aren't eating because they can't work. Their business has gone under. And
I like that, first world. I see a lot of people complaining about what I consider first world problems.
first world problems.
Being able to have wine with dinner, to me, is a first world problem.
It's a first
and I
world.
see people complain about
You know,
that
through
quite a
this
bit.
whole, I have 2 children in the U.S., And they're not whiny kids, but they did have some issues around the quarantine. Their quarantine was like baby stuff.
Oh, compared to what
They
we're
had
doing?
nothing. I'm like, are you kidding me? You can walk down to the store and go shopping? I haven't seen a store in 3 months, you know? I mean, it was really interesting.
I'm very happy to be living in Panama, in Boquete especially, because I feel that the mayor has taken the time to make sure that we are being safe in our town. The Panamanian government wants to make, as strict as they are, they want to make sure that we are safe. And I feel really safe here in this town. And if it takes a while for our market to open, I'm cool with that because I understand. I know it means a lot to vendors to be able to start selling, businesses to get going, but as long as we have this invisible enemy that we are having a difficult time reining in, we're going to have to do what it takes to make it work.
Well said. Thank you.
Yep, I agree.
And now that they have sort of scrapped the whole idea of blocks, we don't really
Which
have...
makes sense because that was kind of a very kind of rigid concept. And it wasn't set up to take into account different localities and the spread being different in different areas. So I'm glad they abandoned that.
I mean, it's been a cluster for everybody all over the world because none of us have any idea what we're dealing with. Maybe a little more of an idea now, but we just recently started to get some clarification on things. And for me, it's been very an eye-opener. I'm not thinking about the death thing. I'm thinking about the people who are not recovering, who may never recover from it. It's not just...
You mean financially? Or?
No, I mean physically. That they might have destroyed lungs for the rest of their lives.
Because of the ventilator.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the people that have been unable to receive their cancer treatments.
Yes.
You know, my dad has a growth on his head, just as an example. And we've been unable to get an appointment down in David to get checked by a dermatologist what could be, probably not, but what could be skin cancer. And I think this is true all over,
Absolutely.
Even in the United States, people unable to get care for things other than the coronavirus.
Absolutely.
So there's no easy answer.
No, there's no
we're
easy
certainly
answer.
not experts, but
We're riding the wave, you know, that's all we can do is ride the wave.
yep.
Hola! We have our amazing pizza lady coming in from Bravissimo. And what do we have today?
Free pizza?
Every week.
La
Wow.
pizza vegetariana.
Oh,
Ah.
please try. Let's eat it.
¿Hablas inglés?
No,
Okay.
my English is very bad.
Te quiero preguntar algo.
God, is that gorgeous or what?
I
Wow.
have not seen a pizza like
Is that a vegan pizza? Sure looks like it. A lot
Is
of
it
vegetables
vegan?
on there.
Is it vegetarian?
Vegetarian with
Okay.
beautiful
That
peppers.
Tiene
Queso.
mozzarella.
mozzarella?
Okay.
It's not vegan.
Mozzarella.
Vegetarian.
I have a question for her if I could. I'll
Please.
ask it in Spanish. Dicen que ustedes es posible que se van a mudar a donde Botánica
Sí.
para ver si es verdad y podemos anunciar aquí a la comunidad. ¿Sí?
Vamos a cambiar para donde era la volcánica
Ajá.
en breve. Estamos arreglando el local.
Gracias.
So
En
there-
breve vamos a cambiar bem cerca. Entonces la referencia continúa la misma.
Ok.
La pizzería brasileirísimo, el calle principal, después del Banco Nacional. Entonces la misma referencia porque muy cerca. El teléfono el mismo, 65465663. Todos los días estamos abiertos de 11 de la mañana hasta las 10 de la noche. Entonces la volcánica es muy conocida.
¿Cuándo se van a mudar?
Así que arreglamos algunas cosas ya, como 30 días probablemente.
Okay. So,
Can you give us a rundown?
yeah, there was a rumor that I had heard, and now she is able to confirm that the Brazilian pizza is moving into where the Volcanica is. Now, that's good news for the people that like the Brazilian pizza. Volcanica, it's kind of a shame that they've had to close down. They've been in
Oh.
Boquete probably 30 years.
Oh.
And so it's just another casualty of the coronavirus. But things die, things grow. So we have somebody moving into that space. I think it's going to be better than the space that they're in now. So
That's
She
she
fabulous.
says in about 30 days they should have everything
Where is their
rebuilt.
space now?
They're on the corner where the what's been there? I mean, what hasn't been there? Where the
Autos has been there. You know
Auto-
that corner right
Oh,
across from.
yes.
and Lucero sales office was there for a
Yeah,
long
yeah,
time,
yeah.
on that corner.
Oh,
That's where they
okay.
are now.
And you can see they're yellow. They've got a yellow.
Okay, because
Correct.
that whole building's coming down, that whole block.
Was coming down.
Oh,
was
wow.
This is,
coming down, yeah.
I mean, who's going to invest $3-4 million in a commercial building in Boquete during this time?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that yesterday. I thought, plans may have changed. Like, I wouldn't put up a commercial building in Boquete right now. So maybe he's thought the same thing. I don't know, but they're moving, and
Fabulous.
Big Daddy's is happy about that. So the
That's
more people we
wonderful.
can get in that block, so everything doesn't move up into Restaurant Row. Get some
Right.
things,
Keep it down.
Yeah,
Keep it
keep
down below where the
some
tourists are
things,
really hanging out.
Yeah, exactly.
Has anybody heard? Has
You
any,
guys want to eat?
Toda la pizza
There's-
always está caliente.
I
There's
just had a big
space.
burrito from Sugar and Spice. I'm not sure I could eat a piece of that,
It
but I'll
looks-
try. You know what? I'm going to.
I'm gonna give it a
Bolivar,
shot.
come and eat something.
I'll go in a minute.
Have we heard anything more about the big building? I'm just curious. I know this is off topic, but the big building that's been sitting there forever, that's never been finished across from.
I heard that it was
Fair.
going to be
Fair.
finished, and then I don't know what happened.
Well,
No.
of course, the virus happened, but did we heard anything more about that?
Nothing new.
Do you want some pizza?
I met the owner of that building one time. I used to have a real estate office in Boca, and I had a potential buyer for that building. So, in the process of trying to find out who the owner was and negotiate a sale, I met the owner, and he is a Panamanian of Spanish descent who lives in David. Very well known in the Panamanian community. A lot of gringos don't know who he is, and he's a pretty strict business person. Let's go with that. And I think he had some issues with the prior administration, not even Mio, but the mayor before Mio. And whatever they had, they were unable to resolve. So if that's changed over the last 6 months, I haven't heard it. And again, making large investments during the coronavirus, if he was unwilling to do it before, he's probably even less willing to do it now. Would be my opinion, but I could be wrong.
We're going to see a lot of movement. A lot of movement in, a lot of movement out.
Yeah.
Once things start moving again, things will change. How long has the market been at that location?
Is it
Probably
10 years? 11 years?
12, yeah.
Yeah.
I moved here 15 years ago, and so I was here when it started at the Panamonte. And so if the Panamonte was 15, then they moved on to the Fundadores.
Right.
So it's probably been 11 or 12 years.
I'll be there
In its
10
current location.
years very soon, so I've been part of that market. And like I said, I have seen them come and I have seen them go. Because when we first started, it was all volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
And then it moved, market managers changed, and it's just kind of been an evolution, and we feel that it is going to evolve in the correct direction. And talking about pizza, this is phenomenal.
Great pizza, by the way.
I was just going to ask
It's
you.
got so many different things.
Tell us the
on it.
taste you're experiencing.
It's delicious, and it
Fresh,
has oh
great
my
dough.
gosh, and it has
Broccoli,
loaded with stuff
capers.
on it.
And this is
This is
Brasilissimo.
like a bean.
Guisante, como diz, guisante.
broccoli and capers on a
Broccoli.
pizza. That's probably
That's
a first
awesome.
for me.
Tomates,
has-
cebollas, guisantes, maíz.
Yeah, it has corn
Corn.
on it. I love it.
Wow,
it has,
corn.
It has black
¿Cuánto
olives.
cuesta una pizza así?
Yeah.
Esa la mediana, $10.
$10 for a
Tamaño.
medium pizza with
La
15
family-
pounds of veggies on it. That's
family, 16. Family, $16.
okay. 16
And
for the family.
you are
size.
open from 10 in the morning till 11 at night?
Yes, in the
What
middle.
time?
Every day,
Sí. 11.
11 a.m. hasta the 10 p.m. Every day.
And you deliver after 7 because, of course, we're quarantined after 7. So you do deliver at people's homes.
Hacen
All over.
delivery después de las
Deliver
7.
takeout. They did
Oh, and
takeout.
take out.
Deliver and takeout. Every day, the teléfono 65465663.
In English?
What are those
6'5".
numbers?
Oh, I didn't get that. I was
Cinco, say again.
enjoying my pizza.
6'5",
6'5",
6'3",
6'3",
6546.
5'6",
6'3".
6'3",
Well, I was way off.
6'5", 6'3", 5'6", 6'3" to reach Bravalissimo.
Brasileiríssimo.
Brasilissimo.
It's very Brazil.
Very Brazilian.
Very Brazil.
Brasileiríssimo.
Super Brazil.
Brasileiríssimo. Sim, brasileiríssimo.
This
And
is really good pizza.
Yeah.
We
The
have
crust
had
is-
amazing pizzas and also raviolis
Sim,
from
pasta.
very Brazil.
I've been hearing about this every
Meat,
week,
chicken,
and
meat,
now
Yeah.
I've tried it.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
I will say for these guys too, when everybody else is closed down, these guys, their lights are still on and they're still providing food for Boquete. When every other restaurant is closed, I've been by a couple times, inadvertently after the quarantine, I will say, and they're open. Their lights are on, and so por todo lo que hacen ahí, los esfuerzos que han hecho ahí para para levantar el negocio, de ahí.
Sim, porque em tempos de crise temos que trabalhar mais em família, porque tudo queda mais caro para se pagar funcionário. Então, é uma família. Eu, meu marido, meu hijo, e temos uma funcionária agora que estamos em crise. E creio que Deus já está a prover algo para o mundo para sacar essa crise, para que os restaurantes possam voltar a funcionar, as pessoas possam voltar a fazer passeios. Que oramos para que tudo passe logo, para que todos possam vir a provar personalmente. E queremos fazer um ambiente muito agradável no novo local, onde era a vulcânica. Queremos fazer um ambiente agradável, tranquilo e de acordo com a norma da MINSA, para que todos possam estar seguros e comer com sua família em breve. E o novo local também todos o conhecem, que a vulcânica é muito conhecida. Enquanto isso, pode sempre chamar por telefone, ordenar e falar, eu vou agarrar em 30 minutos, 15, 20 e vai estar listo o seu pedido. Temos não só pizza, temos carnes, pastas, deditos de pollo, deditos de pescado.
Ensalada.
As ensaladas só quando volver, porque agora como delivery. As
para delivery, yeah.
Para delivery não queda muito buena, que se
Gets
mocha,
too wet
fica
and
assim.
A little soggy.
Can you synopsize?
Yeah, basically, I'll give you my take on what
Okay.
she said in a minute. But basically, she thanks the Bocatanian community, the foreign community for supporting her business. They're really looking forward to moving into their new location, even though some people will lament the closing of the Volcanica. They hope to improve on what they did. So basically thanking the community. And my take is this is really kind of an immigrant mindset that you get when you will do whatever it takes to survive. When everybody else closes at 6 o'clock, you stay open until 10 o'clock.
And did you
That's
know
just
that her
the-
husband, who makes the pizza, has been making pizza for 30 years?
I didn't know
30.
that. I didn't know
30.
Que tu esposo tiene más de 30 años
Exacto.
así como pizzero, así que
Exacto.
por eso tiene la
Marido,
calidad.
Sim, tem 30 anos como pizzeiro. Em Brasil temos restaurante muito grande. El outro era o nome da Chalet Italia, um restaurante muito grande que teníamos como para 350 pessoas, muito grande.
En Brasil,
Em Brasil,
¿cuánto tiempo tiene Panamá? How much time
ano
have
e
you?
2 meses.
¿Cuánto?
Ano e 2 meses.
Okay, they have 14 months living in Panama.
Mhm.
Why? ¿Por qué se fueron de Brasil y por qué escogieron a Panamá?
E queremos local mais tranquilo. Temos 4 filhos, queremos local tranquilo, com pessoas assim que têm, aunque aún há valores para agregar. Em Brasil, infelizmente, a violência é muito grande.
I was asking why they decided to leave Brazil and why choose Panama. And they were looking for a more relaxed place, a safer place. I think a lot of violence in Brazil. No había ningún pueblito en Brasil donde no le ha tocado tanto la violencia.
Sim, há muitos locais mais tranquilos, pero que a violência sempre chega e nossos filhos vão crescer, vai querer ir para a cidade grande. Eu sou polícia em Brasil, eu sei o que
She
é
was
a
a police
violência.
officer in Brazil.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
E eu sei como é a violência,
Yeah.
como as pessoas influenciam as outras. Então, eu quero meus filhos em um local mais tranquilo, con más oportunidad de acá para otros locales.
¿Están contentos en Panamá entonces?
Sí, acá es un
Very happy in
tranquilo,
Panama.
son personas tranquilas.
We are so happy to have
We're all lucky to
Yes,
live in
we are
Panama
lucky.
because, as you see, she had to
100%.
leave her home country, as we did, but you know the circumstances are different. So.
Absolutely. Another wonderful feast. Thank you so much.
Gracias.
The number is 6563-5663 for pickup or delivery from 11 to 11 every day.
Exato.
Thank you again for bringing this delicious feast to us again. Every
Thank you,
week, we're
sis.
so lucky.
Thank you too. God bless you.
Obrigado, obrigado.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Obrigado a você.
Obrigado.
Que Deus abençoe a todos. God bless you.
Bless you.
Amém.
If you've ever been to Portugal,
No.
okay, they don't like you to speak Spanish.
No.
Like they're very proud of their own
Right.
culture, and a lot of gringos especially think that Portugal's
No, it's a
Spain, same
different.
thing. And
No,
if you go there and say gracias, because I was there, and I made the mistake of saying gracias, and they take
don't like
offense to that. So that's why I said obrigado to her,
Obrigado.
which is
When I say it's
Thank you.
obrigado.
It's like
in
France.
Portuguese. Yeah, the French get offended by everything.
I want you to know that we only have a few minutes left.
Oh, really?
Wow. I
Went
know.
fast.
I told you. It's just amazing. We didn't even play any music. It's amazing. So interesting. So much information. How do you want to leave this? What do you want to say as your closing statements about the BCP market?
No.
Oh, the Tuesday market. The Tuesday
We
market.
threw around a lot of different names. We were trying to figure out. I kind of like the name the Riverside Market, Boquete Community Market. I think is a really good name. But then it doesn't really matter what the name of the market is. It's the market where you're used to going, what you've been seeing and buying for the years that you've been here doing that. And we all just want to get along. We don't want to be the Hatfields versus the McCoys. We don't want to say anything nasty about them and then they say something nasty about us. We just want, I think this town, as little as it is big enough to support a couple different markets. If not, we wouldn't be able to have that beautiful mercado in town. We wouldn't be able to have Super
Exactly.
Baru and Romero and Mandarin. There's enough for
right.
everybody. And maybe there's vendors at the market across the street that you're familiar with and you really like them, and I support them highly. I think as a vendor, we support each other. We're a family. And we don't want to get into a negative thing. We just all want to come on Tuesday, set up, sell our wares, and go home. There isn't anything more than that.
And so it will remain on Tuesday. And we're still waiting to hear about the time frame.
Right, and the hours are going to be what it was before, 9 to 1, but if we do need to extend to get more people in, we'll do whatever it takes to meet the needs of the town and Mensa's regulations.
And when the restaurants do open and Tap Out does open, does that automatically mean that you will open as well?
I have,
Yeah, that's. I wish that were the case. I wish that were the
So
case.
we don't know.
We don't know. We don't know. If only food was served, then you could classify the market as a restaurant. But the jewelry, I'm not exactly sure when a jewelry store in which block they would be considered. But
those, I've been in David, and multiple stores are open. You just can't go past their front door, and they
Yeah.
have a lot of plastic hanging down.
and that's because they have food. It's a trick.
No, it's the electronics store, the jewelry store, the store that sells I'll get it, office supplies. They're
Office
only open
supplies,
for short
maybe. Yeah.
times of the day, but there are a lot of stores. The clothing stores are not open.
Oh, okay.
You
Now
cannot.
they tried.
Oh,
You know
did
what because a bunch of them have been closed down in David, and what they did was they had a bunch of rice and a bunch of foodstuffs at the very entrance, and you could do that. So the people would come in and they wouldn't buy their rice at El Campeon, and then they would go and they would shop, and the Minsa has been really cracking down hard on them,
Right.
despite their best efforts to under the table,
I
trying
mean,
to
it's
stay
just two
open. They are
really
not allowing
strong
that.
poles. You know, it's our health and it's our well-being and it's our finances and our livelihood and our families is two huge issues.
No easy answer.
No easy answer.
No.
And we are so pleased and excited to hear such wonderful news about the market at Tap Out.
The Tuesday market.
Tuesday
The
market
Tuesday
at Tap
market at Tap Out, and we thank you both, Dee and Justin, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And please come again as you proceed in your plans. We'd love to know what's coming up. And I do know that Cynthia did write me to tell me that Sunny is interested in a spot in the market, and I suggested that she reach you.
Okay.
Waiting list.
Waiting list.
Waiting list, waiting
Yeah.
list.
Waiting list.
Anybody out there who wants to have a table, it will be a waiting list. Please contact Dee. What's your contact?
WhatsApp 6667-2671.
Everybody want to do it one more time?
6667-2671.
If you're interested in being a vendor at the Tuesday Market, please contact Dee. And in the meantime, have a fabulous week. The weather is a little rainy because we're in the rainy season.